Ladies and gentlemen, you thought last night on Sportswire Radio that shots were fired like you've never seen before. Wait until you watch this one tonight. Boy, I can assure you, this one's going to live up to the term here on Sportswire Radio in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage. Because our guest, ladies and gentlemen, for those that still don't know, it was 1 week ago at this time. He was in ICU, intensive care. We didn't know what would happen to this young man. He was fighting, figuratively and literally, for his life. And it was just days later that for whatever reason, he showed up to his company to fight for his company that he's helped build, All Legendary Wrestling. And not only did he compete for that World Heavyweight Championship, he competed for the Golden Gauntlet, and he won the 2024 Golden Gauntlet. And what a statement he made by desecrating Trey Mysticality. Certainly he's no more small-town sinner. Trey Mysticality is yesterday's news. But that moment, that Golden Gauntlet moment, was taken away. It was taken away from somebody that's a well-known member of this platform and the movement that's been created. But tonight, our guest is going to tell us why that person was trying to live off his success, maybe just like he's done in some other places. You mean to tell us our guest is going to talk about that? You also mean to tell us that our guest is going to maybe create the greatest backyard havoc anybody's seen. And oh, by the way, it's going to be home to the same place that this shirt I'm wearing right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the last time our guest was here, you thought the Hiroshimas were dropped. But this man literally saw his life flash before his eyes. He's pulling no punches. And I can assure you, unlike last night's shows when guys on this platform were more or less, let's just say, holding that trigger and not pulling. Tonight, our guest, he's going to pull the trigger and he may blow everybody away that's in front of him. If I'm Big Man Cam, is he still hurt, by the way, or is James Taylor still suspend him? Trey Mysticality, just stay down this time. KP Mars, get out of the way. Holden Holloway, go focus on Jerry. Justin, you got to go focus for your other championship match with this gentleman. But everybody else, just get out of the way. And that very well may even include that man that, let's just say his name is Mr. Kron. And boy, I can assure you, everybody in the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit, buckle up for this one. Because I can assure you, our guest tonight, he might make the likes of James Taylor look tame. Anthony Steele, forget about him tonight. When you see what the Evil Angel has to say. Omen Black and Soldier GP, yeah, we'll wish Soldier GP a happy birthday in a little while. Omen Black, it might be his show, but you're not going to see a backyard havoc like what our guest has seen. Big Man Cam, he's dealt with this man before. We don't want to bring up Rosa one more time because Big Man Cam's got his own problems to deal with, and he's got to figure out what BYW still wants him or not. Anybody else that's out there, just get out of the way. Sean Jovi, just go focus on Jovi's vlogs when it comes to this man. You name him, Jason Storm, focus on parasites that are eating pizza. Focus on anybody else. Anybody else out there that's usually on this platform, whatever you do, just let this man cook. It's going to be like no other show you've seen in history. Let me put it to you this way. Ladies and gentlemen, I have gone on and on and on about this young man, but I have gone on and on and on about this young man because I don't want to be the one that gets that shot pulled toward me and where I'm blown away. You know, maybe somebody out there might want me to be blown away after what this platform has become. At least for one night. I don't want this young man to pull that trigger and shoot, because I guarantee if he's shooting at me, he ain't missing. But for whatever he's going to say, there ain't going to be any blanks. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce this man here. But before I give him that introduction in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters, let me give him that all legendary, Golden Gauntlet winning introduction he deserves. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right to it. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sportzwire. Number one, Global Sports Show. The man that has defeated death. The man that is the longest tenured backyard and underground wrestling champion in our circuit for nearly 5 years. The inaugural AWL Heavyweight Champion of the World and the 2024 All Legendary Wrestling Golden Gauntlet winner. Very well, the future of the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit. His name is simply put, Joe. The champ is here. My friend, how are ya? Literally.
Reverend Tom, man. Every time I get that introduction, every time I get that all legendary introduction that you always talk about, it just riles me up. It makes me just ready to talk about all the things I'm ready to talk about.
And this one tonight is buckle your seatbelts. Yeah. Because, last night, everybody was like, kumbaya, let's get together and feel all right. Tonight, not so fast. I think, ladies and gentlemen, you might be going back to, forget about what Alan Michaels said last night. Saturday night, Eddie Exile was talking about, everybody, just support everybody, do your thing. Not so fast tonight. The evil angel Judas, he just looked death, stared death in the eyes, and defeated death. Ladies and gentlemen, sure, we have a who's who of people on this circuit that comes on here, and they're deathmatch wrestlers, pro wrestlers, underground guys, take light tubes for a living, nearly bleed to death, send messages in blood. They do every death-defying stuff out there. But ladies and gentlemen, this man defeated death. He defeated death. Everybody talks about famously years ago, Motley Crue, Nikki Sixx, overdoses from heroin, was dead, wakes up alive. This is the man, ladies and gentlemen, our circuit, who has defeated death. What is going to stand in his way? And how are you feeling right now for the audience to kick things off?
So how I'm feeling right now? I'm feeling great. I'm in no pain anymore. I have zero.
Good.
I have zero scares of anything happening again. We got it all figured out. Just to go into it a little bit, if people don't know.
Yes, please.
About a week ago today, pretty much a week ago today, I got super sick. If people don't know, I'm a type 1 diabetic. And what happened was I basically went into diabetic ketoacidosis. And if you don't know what that means, that basically means there was so much excess sugar and insulin was not responding Therefore, I had acid in my blood.
Oh.
And I was in the hospital for a long time. I got squatted down. I don't remember about 12 hours of it because my brain was swelling so much. But I'm here, and that's all that matters. Like Tom said, I looked death in the eye. I smacked him in the face and said, "Not today." So I'm here, and hopefully nobody dies this episode.
Ooh. Well, you know what? You said it on Instagram. You're going to be dropping some Hiroshima, so I don't know about that. You know, after what you said months ago about Big Man Cam and Rosa and talked about that, that's going to pale into comparison about tonight because you looked death in the eye. Death was at the evil angel's door. But not so fast, my friends, ladies and gentlemen. If it was anybody else maybe on this platform, we might be having a funeral. We might be planning an obituary to write up and me doing a eulogy on Sportswire Radio, but not so fast. The evil angel Judas, not so fast. No chance. No chance in hell that's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, we got some show in store. In all seriousness, we're glad you're well. I obviously had the chance to speak with your mother off the air. We had shared a clip on Instagram that has 400 some odd views, give or take. Facebook has hundreds of views. A lot of people were wishing you well. Actually, a lot of people inside the backyard and underground wrestling circuit were pulling for you. Eddie Exile shared our clip. Eddie Exile, my guest on Saturday's show. There was a lot of people that were asking about you. I'm in a lot of different Discord groups and elsewhere. So we're very glad to see you back on this platform. And before I certainly get to that main entree, to that man that I think a lot of people in this circuit and usual suspects on this platform, I'm sure are going to want to hear some of the things you say, and I'm going to be sure are going to vehemently disagree about. Talk about those for those that are listening and watching in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters, Sportswire Radio. How does it feel, though, to come back after defeating death and winning that 2024 All Legendary Wrestling Golden Gauntlet?
So a little bit before that, we didn't even know if I was going to be at that show. There were talks of the board of directors messaging everybody saying, we can push the show back. Fans, they can wait for the show. They can wait for the Golden Gauntlet. And it was the day of. I texted the head of the board of directors. I texted everybody in the locker room.
I think you even texted me on Facebook. You said you were going to show up. You told me you were coming back, you were getting better, and you said you were going to wrestle. I'm like, you sure?
I made it my mission to be at that show. And whether you like me, whether you hate me, whether you cheer me, whether you boo me, I want to be there for ALW, and I want to be there for a big event like the Golden Gauntlet. And like you said, I defeated Death, and then I defeated every single person in ALW to be the inaugural ALW Golden Gauntlet winner. And people are giving me crap about it because I entered last. I had the random draw. I had luck on my side like I've had the last week and a half now. And I walked out victorious. I pinned Trey Mysticality. And I feel great because I now have a shot once again at that ALW championship. And everybody knows at our next show, I will walk out ALW champion and I will be a two-time champion for ALW.
There's a lot to unpack here. We'll obviously put the match up, and that'll lead us into, I'm sure, a lot of the conversation tonight. And that's going to be where I can assure you tonight is going to be one of those when I always do my videos on Instagram and now TikTok and Facebook. Sit back, have that drink, have that beverage cold, plenty of ice, and grab the popcorn. Or if you're up late at night at this point, grab whatever midnight snack, whatever you have at this point. Although we're all over the country, so I don't know what's what at this point. But would you say that there was motivation? You were running on a lot of adrenaline, and that this was something where maybe you had something to prove. Maybe you felt that, you wanted to show something, not only to those in ALW, but to maybe those in the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit, who I think now we're starting to hear a little bit about you. And maybe you had some motivation to go out there, even though you just literally stood and stared at death at its door and you beat it. And then you were like, you know what? I want to go back out there and I want to compete. And I want to show everybody, you know what? Not only am I the guy in ALW, but I'm one of the up and coming guys in this circuit.
So everybody knows I like to stay in character and I like to keep things with the company, with everything else. I just want to be real for a minute and tell you
Sure.
What that motivation, like you just talked about, there definitely was. Honestly, when I woke up and I got told it was a coin flip between death and life, that really, it truly it set something off in me where I'm not going to be here forever. So I need to be able to do as much as I can, whether if I were to pass away at 19 years old, if I live on to 80 years old.
And we talked about Jake Allen when you were here a couple of weeks ago. I mean, that's just
Exactly.
Jack Allen. I mean, just terrible. And maybe that's also came into your mind, Mr. Allen.
Yeah. Fun fact. I know Dax might be watching. Dax is Jack's dad. He actually came out and visited me in the hospital.
Oh my God.
We got to catch up a lot. Of course, doctors at ICU wanted to kick him out, but me being me and being loopy and whatever else, I refused. So I got to catch up with Dax, and that was great having that support. But there was one motivation that really got me through to competing that Saturday at ALW Golden Gauntlet. So I was in the hospital. If you don't know, when you're diabetic, you have to check your sugar a lot, especially in ICU. So what they would have to do is check my glucose by poking one of my fingers with a big old, I don't even know what you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing it once every hour, and it would be poke my finger, and then they'd poke another finger, and they had to fill a tube about this big with blood from my capillaries. And that's
my God.
it was basically them taking my finger, squeezing basically the life out of it. My fingers were black and blue. But when I got moved out of ICU, I wasn't allowed to eat and drink for like 24 hours or 40-ish hours, maybe.
Oh my God. Wow.
It was bad. 28 bags of fluid is what it took. But so I got told, hey, you can eat, you can drink. I had breakfast, and then I got out of ICU the day before I got out. And they told me, they said, like, they came in an hour later and said, hey, we found a test that came back negative. We need to keep you on this thing where no food, no water. And that was where my motivation died, because I thought, hey, I'd be getting out. I'd be getting ready to wrestle Saturday at that Golden Gauntlet event. And a nurse came up to me and basically said, if you didn't know, I was at Children's Hospital. I'm 19 years old, still a kid. But a nurse came up to me and she told me that there was a 8-year-old kid in the room next to me going through the exact same thing I was going through. It was going through diabetic ketoacidosis, and it was going through dealing with sugars and not eating, having your finger murdered every 2 seconds. And that's what gave me that motivation to really just get out of there, if you know what I mean. Just the fact that I was realizing that an 8-year-old kid who has a whole life ahead of him, hasn't even hit middle school, high school, and college even, probably doesn't even know what he wants to do with the rest of his life. Just an 8-year-old kid going through that exact same thing with that life or death situation. Because seriously, with diabetic ketoacidosis, it is a coin flip. It's you call heads or tails, and you better be right.
Oh, you did look at death in the door. And I mean, did you ever feel like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be here, and I don't know if I'm going to make it? Was there ever that doubt? I mean, there's a lot of people here in the chat. There's a lot of people that, you might be able to influence somebody out there. We were talking about mental health last night on the show. I mean, did you ever feel any moment of doubt there?
I will be completely honest. I am, other than diabetes, I am a husky, healthy guy.
I've watched you in the ring. I've seen you go out there.
I'm
Obviously,
a bigger guy.
not Trey Mysticality big though.
Yeah,
Oh.
not that big. I may
Not big man Cam big. Not big man Cam big for sure.
Oh, absolutely not. But yeah, there were doubts when I got told, "Hey, no food, no water again." I looked at my nurse and I'm like, "Pull the plug." Like if
Wow.
if there's no getting better, like all that cut every motivation I had. And that was maybe 2 hours of me just laying in a hospital bed, which, by the way, very uncomfortable for your back. Still,
I've heard that. I've heard, I've heard that from people. I wouldn't know really, but I've heard.
But there was 2 hours of where there were multiple people trying to get into my room just to see me and talk to me. People like you, Reverend Tom. That was the day you texted and said, "Hey,
I actually, yes, your mother. I spoke to your mother a couple times. Really, I'll break the fourth wall. Thanks to Big Man Cam. Actually, he had put it out there because we're in a couple of group chats, and he had put it out there. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I could record a message or something. And I spoke to your mother, and I was like, well, could I mention something on Sportzwire? Can I mention it to my show? And that's what I wound up doing the next day. And
right.
She was like, I showed her the clip. I'm like, can I, I showed it to her, and she was very supportive. And yeah, I mean, I spoke to her a couple times, as a matter of fact. I think we spoke a couple times. I'm sure she could confirm it.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I was saying, there was a point where I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to see anybody. And it was basically, I wanted to be in that hospital room by myself because I hated the way my sister saw me. It was just, it hurts seeing your family around you, praying. Like, I woke up and I had people praying over me, and I'm like, okay, I'm used to this, but like, what is going on? But like I said, that 8-year-old kid, I don't know his name. I didn't get to talk to him. I really wanted to talk to him afterward, but he's what gave me that motivation. It sounds completely stupid, but that 8-year-old.
No, listen, I don't know what it's like to be in that moment. You're in a moment where you don't know what could happen. Listen, people do go into, I know we'll get into the Golden Gauntlet, but listen, people do go into these situations, and there are stories. You're in a hospital, you get sick, and it doesn't matter if you're 19 years old or 99 years old. You could, right. Who knows? I mean, there's just anything, people get sick, and it happens all the time. I mean, you just don't know. And you were in a moment where you were here on this platform 8 days earlier, and then all of a sudden you're in intensive care, and you were sick for like a couple days at least. And that's, a lot of people were wondering about you. And it was really, like, honestly, in this circuit, I mean, the amount of views that the clips got, I mean, not to regurgitate it, I'm not going to play it on the air. People have already seen it, but you're back. But we didn't know. I mean, honestly, there was a level of just hope this guy makes it. If he'd like to come on Sportswire sometime, we really just, if he's going to be in a ring one day, great. If not, we just, as a human being, just a human element, just praying for the guy and pulling for him, because he's got a whole life ahead of himself, and he's only 19.
Yeah. And like you just said, it's a community. Whether this is me breaking character, very rarely do people see that happen. But there is the backyard wrestling community is called a community for a reason.
It is.
And it doesn't matter if you're heel, doesn't matter if you're face. Everybody is just like, the amount of people I had reach out to me that I am watching on different promotions and stuff. It's amazing. And
yeah, I mentioned it. I was on the air, I think, twice on Tuesday last week. I think I did 2 shows, and it came up both times. I mean, it came up a couple times. I was on the air Wednesday. I'm on every night, but I mean, it did come up a couple times. People were wondering, there was people I brought it up. People were praying for you. I think James Taylor was here, and he was saying, yeah, we're praying for Judas. He obviously seen you here on the shows. I mean, yeah, there were people. We had Max Strong, an independent guy. We talked about it then. I mean, yeah, people were really, people were praying for you, whether I just only seen you here or just whether they were in the ALW locker room or
Right.
the Backyard Havoc group, whatever it is. And people were they really were just hoping you were going to make it just out of the human element side. I think that's what makes the backyard community, to me, the best community. I mean, people can say, there's toxicity. People can say, there's fights. But the truth is, 80 to 90% of it is we're all on the same team. And what you went through, I think, is an example of people put aside who they work for and who they wrestled or who they liked or who they didn't like. And we're just pulling for a young guy who was, we didn't know was staring death at his door.
Right. And like I said, the backyard community is a fantastic community. And to anybody out there that says backyard wrestling, it is toxic. There is toxicity. People don't get along. That happens anywhere you go. If you
Absolutely.
you're going to have people you don't like. If you go to school, go to college, there will be people you don't like. That is life. The backyard wrestling community is something great. And if people disagree with that, if people say that the backyard wrestling community is a waste of time, people pulling through that just
I don't want them here. If they say that, no, I'm going to cut it off. I don't want them here. If they say that, go somewhere else. There's the door.
Exactly.
And don't come through. Because to me, I see what the backyard wrestling circuit brings to the table. And in my money, the backyard wrestling circuit and the backyard wrestling community is the best community in all of wrestling. Because to me, the backyard wrestling community is the community that supports its own. And yeah, are there moments? Absolutely. But listen, you go through all walks of life, all things, all situations. There is always going to be bad. There is always going to be good. There is going to be, though, a heck of a lot more good when it comes to the backyard wrestling circuit. And I'll say it, and I'll continue to say it. I wouldn't have had the amount of following or followers that I have had on YouTube if it was not for backyard wrestling. Backyard wrestling has reinvented and made Sportswire a relevant platform. It's all wrestling matters. That all comes from the backyard wrestling circuit. Yes, the underground and the hardcore, they've been very good. We worked with them. Yes, they're, not backyard, but they're a part of that. But really, the backyard wrestling circuit, that's really where we are a close-knit community. And we have latched onto something, and I think that people are very glad that you've pulled through. People are happy that you're here on this platform where you belong in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage. And we're very happy that you took death at its door and said, not so fast. I'm called the evil angel for a reason. And we're going to find out here shortly why you might be calling somebody else a man that has certainly made his teeth into the backyard wrestling circuit's all wrestling matters movement, that you're going to give him maybe his biggest challenge or maybe his most backyard havoc he's ever had to deal with. We'll certainly get into that. There's a lot of comments. Let me get to the comments before I transition into the Golden Gauntlet, into where I think the real meat and potatoes of the conversation is going to come. Yes, Zilla's in the house. We say hello to Zilla. Yes, Zilla's here. Zilla's interesting. The man that, I'm going to get to him. I'm going to let you talk about it in about 5 minutes. We're going to say, hello there, Mr. Cron, and we're going to certainly get to that. Yes, hi to DKW. Good to see you. Yes, Zilla's got a bunch of comments, but Soldier's birthday is in a little while, so it's not a late birthday, but that's fine. Yes, happy birthday to Soldier. I'll wish him that in a little while. I see Mr. GAC. How you doing out there? From our good friends over at Breakpoint Wrestling. Welcome back, old friend. He was one of the people that gave us the updates. How you doing there, Codester? How you doing? Good to see you doing well.
Blizzard GM.
Yes.
One of the guys texting me every day, pulling for me. So, Cody, seriously, thank you, dude.
Cody was here, I think, on James's stream, because it was Tuesday night where we mentioned you for a couple of minutes. I think Code, so you were here right during James's stream. I think we mentioned it. We definitely mentioned it on Tuesday's show with James. Because James James is a major draw in our circuit, and it definitely came up in Tuesday's show. That's really what we really talked about. Want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Hardcore. Obviously dresses like you, a living legend. And Mr. Hardcore, we were supposed to have Skrilla on here, but unfortunately Skrilla had a last-minute appointment, a last-minute cancellation, which led us to Mr. Judas himself. We hope to get Skrilla back on here in the next month. But Mr. Hardcore, I know, is a big fan of yours. He's talked about you to me in the past. He said, "Good evening, gentlemen. Hello once again, Mr. Judas. I see you are doing very well. The navy blue, light blue, and gold look wonderful together. Keep styling and profiling." Woo! I had the woo in there. I had the woo in there. But that was for you. But yes, thank you. And hello to our very good friend from Future Atlanta Pro Wrestling, which we know is going to have a show coming up here soon. Yes, thank you for that. Good to see Judas here and ready. Yes, I agree on that. I definitely agree on that wholeheartedly. Want to say hello to Mike Miller here for the first time. How you doing, Mike? Nice to see you. Glad to see you are doing well, Bob. Yes, and if you are here, hit the sub button for us, and also hit the ALW sub button because
absolutely.
We're doing well with ALW. ALW is doing really well right now. I saw 100. I announced it on YouTube before I did the video. After I did the YouTube announcement, 3 new subscribers. So I'm glad to see that we're doing well in ALW. So for those that were worried about ALW 2 weeks ago, not so fast anymore. So I'm happy to see that. The Grim Reaper was coming for Judas, and the Reaper left running. Yeah, I definitely believe that one. I definitely agree on that. We see another friend here once again. I love you, Judas. Judas the Champ, my queen. Oh, interesting.
That's a new one. I guess I can add that to my list.
I think this is Holden Holloway. It looks like it could be Holden Holloway, and Holden's going to be in your chair in a couple of weeks from now. Actually, he's going to be in your chair a Sunday, 20 days from now. He's here. Oh, he's finally making his debut, and he's now here to stay in All Legendary Wrestling after he left, but he's back. He was. Certainly became a figure after your title match against Justin, but he's wrestling Jerry coming up. But until then, the Evil Angel can't be put down. Great to see you looking good and looking spiffy. Yes, you are you and Mr. Hardcore are easily the most well-dressed people that come on this platform. I mean, there's no question about that. People would say, well, I should be the most well-dressed because I might be worth the most. But no, I'm actually I would just dress in my T-shirt and shorts. I mean, I do that all times of the year. I'm a Jimmy Buffett type rather than a Warren Buffett type. But that's here nor there. Let's move on. Got to capitalize on that last entry. Unlike me, yes, that's Mr. Holloway, which I thought it looked like Holden a little bit because it had his look. Yes, congratulations. Thank you, Zilla, for approving that in the comment. My buddy Nate, Judas versus James Taylor. Well, not quite, but there'll be somebody else that might be, as James Taylor referred to as an old head. I'm going to get to that. Oh, very true. Yes. It's James's words. James called that
man. Why are these old people coming after me, Tom?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. And I'm assuming James Taylor is going to be here eventually in the chat because he's always here. If you had left Dalton, I would have been at your funeral 100%. Well, thank you for confirming that. I mean, we would have held a funeral here on Sportswire. I would have made sure that Big Man Cam wouldn't have done the introductions because I know Big Man Cam does the introductions in ALW, but we need somebody that can do a little bit more of a louder one. I know Trey's doing his in XCW, but we'll let the professionals do it.
Job.
Well, there's a lot of things I could say about XCW, but I'm just going to say that it's good to see Trey in the chat, and it's good to see Trey a part of XCW because we want to know Holden's a part of it, and Big Man Cam's still the New Age champion. That's just a thing, but we'll move on. Yes, we're all glad that Mr. Judas is better, and we are very happy about that. Yes. Now, Mr. Mysticality, a man, boy, you speak about people you shot and killed practically. Glad to see you're back, Judas, because I can't wait to kick your ass. You're a false prophet. Always have been, always will be. He's mad about what you did to him in the Golden Gauntlet, which we're going to put up here.
Okay, he has a right to be mad. I'm just a better wrestler. We talked about this on his Sportswire.
Yes.
0-3. Now he's 0-4. Let's just keep on piling to that.
He's the Buffalo Bills of the all legendary wrestling in the backyard wrestling circuit, pretty much.
Scott, I'll run it back with you any day, but the outcome is going to stay the same.
Oh, I tell you, now I see the chat's getting lit up right now. Oh, baby, people know it's coming. They know. I see the numbers lighting up. I see YouTube's getting crazy. Looking spiffy, Judas. Yes, we agree. It's Judas and Mr. Hardcore. But when we do we're gonna do an end of the year awards this year because I I didn't quite do it last year. We're going to definitely do it this year because I know I'm going to get to 1,000. So I'm going to have a lot of fun once I get there. But
Absolutely.
I know that we're going to have you and Mr. Hardcore win that award. I just know, best dressed guest on Sportswire. You and Hardcore are going to win that. Yes, hi to Trey Mysticality. And I think that he knows, this man knows what's coming. He knows
he knows. Got a couple bullets in the chamber right now.
Oh, there's plenty of them here.
I'm not afraid to say
yes.
I'm not afraid to speak my mind.
We know that. Listen, and hi, Trey Mysticality. Didn't see you there. Yes, we definitely want to say hi to him. And I think this is also a new person that was a part of ALW I've seen, and also a part of the Backyard Havoc coming up. Good to see a smile on your face, Judas, after looking death in the face. Yes, we definitely agree with that. We obviously are very happy about that. And I know Holden, who is going to finally be here in a couple of weeks, said, I'll tell you this, Judas, we're going to take care of those old farts in ALW. Justin and Jerry, they'll be a past problem. I promise you that. And would that extend to another old head or old fart that showed up in ALW, or am I missing something?
I mean, it's one of those things right now. I got to take care of a business that I have had up just on top of me for the last, I don't know, couple weeks now.
Yes.
After that triple threat match, I need to get my licks back in on Justin. And Justin knows that after winning that Golden Gauntlet, he's not going to hold that title for very much longer.
He's on borrowed time. Listen, he's on borrowed time. It's his days are numbered, just like Big Man Cam's days could potentially be numbered in ROVW after what James Taylor has done to him. But the difference is that James Taylor might have the power. He might have the Stone Cold post on TikTok. He might have the money in Michigan. But in Ohio, I'm not quite sure the old heads can outrun the young heads anytime soon, because last I checked, the young guns have plenty left in the tank and probably have more shots left to fire than those who might be just a little older. We'll have to see. Boy, there's more comments. People are getting lit up right now. They're getting fired up. I knew it. I knew this would be a good one. Trey, now that's a gentleman. Now that goes back. Now he's rubbing salt because he knows what's coming. He knows what's coming here tonight. He knows it.
He's trying to save himself first. He's trying to save himself before,
Well, he's going to have a lot of friends on this platform. He's got a lot of friends. He's got a lot of supporters. I want to put it out there for you. I'll get my lick back. I always do. When we cross paths again, and we will, I am bringing my best. The fact that you decided to disrespect a legend like Mr. Kron makes me sick, and you definitely need the taste slapped out of your mouth. Now, I'll say this much. I mean, Trey Mysticality certainly defending a legend in the Ohio backyard circuit. He's doing more to defend the Ohio backyard wrestling circuit than the Indiana circuit that he might potentially try to play in. But obviously, I'll leave that at that. But Mysticality sounds like he's just, bitter from what happened at the Golden Gauntlet, and there's more comments here. Let me get to them because I see they're getting lit up here. People, we're going to get to it. Listen, let us get to it. There he is, James Taylor. James Taylor, good old James Taylor here, the legendary ROVW owner, the man who has more followers than Cora Jade. Cora Jade tries to shake her behind and show out her assets, and she still has less followers than James Taylor. Boy, that's certainly something there. James Taylor and those cat poncho videos from Stone Cold on TikTok, I'm sure those are going to be going viral as we speak. And Mr. Kron says hello to Mr. Taylor from one old head to another. I see one old head to another.
Together somehow.
Those old heads. But Big Man Cam's just a big head. He's got a big head, big Man Cam, but he's out of BYW, it seems, for now. So
going up in that head.
You know what? I got to tell you, Big Man Cam is quiet tonight. Big Man Cam knows he doesn't want the smoke from you. Big Man Cam, maybe he's busy cooking hamburgers or maybe eating raw meat instead, or, maybe Rosa, right? Maybe Big Man Cam's just quiet tonight, very quiet.
I was about to say, maybe he actually took my advice and decided to actually be a good father for once and take care of
maybe it's also because he lost the ROVW championship. I mean, he lost the title. I mean,
when he has nothing left, what does he do? He goes back to his secondary life.
And his friends in BYW, they threw him under the bus. Those friends there, because they know he eats pizza apparently.
Oh my god.
Boy, I know he's coming. He's coming.
Oh
It's
yeah.
coming, ladies.
I'm waiting.
Justin and Jerry's day should have been numbered a long time ago. Well, I think we're going to start the countdown soon to them. There is more comments. Let me get to them because I really do want to get to the Golden Gauntlet. Hello, yes, thank you, Roo Riders, for tuning in with us. Obviously, we are loving our Rough Rider, like Roo Rider here. Definitely not to be confused with DMX. Are you related to DMX by any chance? He's dead, though, thankfully. But not thankfully, but thankfully you're alive, and DMX is somewhere his memory is remembered. But us old guys have a lot of fights in us. It took 4 years for Ragface to come back better than ever. Ooh. We'll see about that, but I don't think that's your fight at the moment. Yes, hello. He's not the ROEW champion, though. It's actually Jack Delta, and it's actually a good time for me to have breaking news about that. Jack Delta is here live Sunday night, 10 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah, Jack Delta's here, 10 o'clock Eastern time. So if you know a thing or two about the Midwest backyard wrestling circuit and, well, everywhere in our circuit, well, that might be one you might want to tune into, and maybe you want to say hello to Mr. Delta in the chat. I'm sure Mr. Delta.
I would love to personally be a part of that chat room with Mr. Jack Delta.
I would love to see that. I think Mr. Delta, he should get to know you a little bit because Mr. Delta, he should know those in his neighboring states who are about to maybe fire the biggest shots anybody's fired in our circuit yet. So I'll let you know. But yes, Mr. Delta returns live 10 o'clock Eastern time in your chair. We'll see how he does compared to you right now. Thank you, Trey. You have my respect, sir. He is here. Big Man Cam. He got permission to be here from James Taylor. Big Man Cam is on the toilet. That was Xavier Thorne when he was here, but perfect guest to watch while I sit here and empty my system. But he's the one that I know is not employed in Michigan and lost the title. But hey, we'll move on. Big Man Cam in the ALW locker room saved your life. We're going to get to that. Going to get to it. I know the chat's bumping here. The chat's bumping up here. I acknowledge the ROEW champion, Jason Storm. Yes, we'll move on. Thank you for letting us know. James wants to know where is DKW, and that's a serious question. It's in Bremen, Ohio, which is where the Backyard Havoc is going to take place. Yes, thank you. We broke the silence there. Also, Big Man Cam said he don't need permission from James Taylor. But apparently here, James Taylor has a scheduled trip to Ohio in December. Wait a minute. And you know anything about this? Just real quick.
I mean, I would love to say that I do know something about that. But in all honesty, I mean, he can do whatever he wants. If he wants to come down to Ohio in December,
do you think he should come to Marion or he should just stay in Bremen? You think he should, because ALW is in Marion for it. So you think, nah, he should just be an old head and just stay in Bremen?
You know, everybody gives me a ton of crap about talking about the old heads. The ALW door has been burst wide open, which we will eventually get to. We will get to everything.
In a minute, we are going
what
to.
happened at Golden Gauntlet. But I'm not a booker. I'm not a board of director.
Mm-hmm.
The door is always open at ALW.
Oh, well, we know. Well, we definitely know that. And, you know, James Taylor, who's obviously, again, you know, a respected man, a legend. He's a man that's in our Hall of Fame, really maybe the greatest personality in backyard wrestling history, a man with 130,000 followers, a man that has millions upon millions of views on all of his posts. And obviously he does this like you for a hobby and for the love. And, you know, I would love to see him in ALW. I would love to see the legendary James Taylor in ALW.
I'm all for it. Just don't be upset when the young guns like me, and if you want to call Trey Mysticality an up and rising.
Holden Holloway certainly is a young man. We want to call him a young gun.
We'll just call him a young man. Just don't be upset when the young revolution takes over with 19-year-olds and the 20-year-olds in ALW. People like me, KP, Trey, we are the future.
Yeah.
So December's a long way away. So, Mr. James Taylor, I love everything that you do, but just don't be surprised when you see ALW being taken over by, let's call them, the young guns.
Oh, baby, and the shots, I guarantee you there ain't going to be any blanks fired on that. And James Taylor obviously will maybe in December thinking about Christmas posts with Poncho and Macho on TikTok with Stone Cold Cats. And maybe that's where James Taylor will know that he should at the very least tread very lightly when it comes to a potential trip to Ohio. And if he does make that trip, tread very lightly when it comes to the likes of the evil angel Judas. And Big Man Cam is telling James Taylor to go in January, but James Taylor I don't think he's listening to Big Man Cam, because why would he? He just suspended Big Man Cam. And Big Man Cam's obviously lost the ROEW championship. And obviously Big Man Cam's lost some friends right now in CJ Black and Jason Smith. Okay, I think I've got what I want. And before I bring up the Golden Gauntlet, let's support our friend Judas. Because you know what? If you're out there, I only see 45 followers. So I don't care who you are right now. I see you. I see James Taylor in this chat. I see Holden Holloway. I see everybody in this circuit right now. You're on Instagram. I want you to go follow Judas. I want those followers to go up. And then what I want you to do next is I want you to follow the Backyard Havoc, because that's going to be the topic right here. So what I want you to do is this. If you're out there, whoever you are, you're in this chat, hit that follow button, because it's unacceptable to me. 74 followers. I want 75. I want 76. I want to get the number of followers I have for the Backyard Havoc. I have 1,600 plus. I want all the followers at least here tonight on Sportswire. Hit that follow button for the Backyard Havoc. So I want to make sure, if you're out there, that you go hit that follow button for our friends at the Backyard Havoc. And that's how it's got to be, to quote James Taylor. But now I think it's a good time to bring it up on the screen, where I think everybody's going to be waiting for it. So let's get to it. Before I do that, I want to make sure people follow. First of all, hit the sub button for our friends at All Legendary Wrestling. First of all, here's their button right now. 124 subscribers. When I announced on YouTube, ALW was coming to Sportswire, 121 with Judas. To 124 right now. So whoever you are in this chat, hit that sub button. I want 125, 126, 127, and so on and so on. So
keep numbers going up, because at the end of the day, like Reverend Tom says, all wrestling does matter. And even if you don't like what we're doing and you say, oh, it's backyard, no ring, it's still wrestling, and we will always put on the best shows. So
absolutely,
if you with our shows, please subscribe to our ALW channel.
Absolutely, no question about all of that here. So let's make sure that we support our friends. And when I first had the guys on, they were like 57 subscribers. Now we're at 124. So we're going to make sure we support those that support those. Well, you lost the championship according to James Taylor. So I don't know. I mean, listen, we can go down that road, but that's up to James Taylor. I'm talking about All Legendary Wrestling right now. That's for a different show, I'm going to put it up on the screen here. So we got the Golden Gauntlet. I know the World Championship match had happened. Maybe we'll talk about that potentially. But what I really want to do is get to the Golden Gauntlet. I want to pull it up, and I want to get to the moment where the evil angel Judas enters. So I should have that here on the screen. So I'm going to take this off the screen. And we're going to go, I think it's a little bit past. We're going to go like right about, I remember here coming up. There we go. I just had it here. Thank you for that. So we're going to take this up the screen and go like this, and then see, after everything you went through, you're back. You're back, and you're the last man to enter. And just talk about what's going on through your mind, that roller coaster week you had. You know, you wrestled for the world title against Justin, and you came up short, but you still had to compete in this Golden Gauntlet. We talked about it here on this platform. You had to get that title shot from Justin. You were going to release the criminal records. You got it. You got that title shot, but now you're back here in this Golden Gauntlet, and tell us what's going through your mind here.
So, as soon as I lost to Justin, we had a brief intermission, and that is where we got our random numbers to see where we would enter in this Golden Gauntlet. And I will give this to Justin. He did one-up me. I did under-prepare for Justin. That match was probably one of the most hard-hitting matches I've ever been a part of. And he definitely brought out the best in me, and I brought out the best in him. But like I said, he got one over on me. So I get backstage, And then I'm handed the last ticket for this Golden Gauntlet because I lost to Justin. And of course, I'm thinking, great, I just got out of the ICU 3 days ago. I'm already exhausted. So what is this going to entail? If I'm number one, I know I can beat everybody in the ALW locker room. But if I'm number one, can my body hold up? And I opened that slip. And Reverend Tom, when it said number 7, final entrant, I knew I had this in the bag. I knew that this would be my match. And at this point in my head, I'm thinking, can my body hold up? And as of right now, as you can see, it looks like Trey Mysticality needs to be thinking that of can his body hold up, because he's sitting there just not – he wasn't really a challenge, let's say, in this gauntlet. he just got done wrestling 2 different matches in this gauntlet. And people want to say, oh, I got it. I won this match because I was the freshest man in. Trey Mysticality, you can keep saying that.
But were you? Because you look at what you went through this past week, nearly dying. Then you go through a world championship match where you came up short. And that's psychologically a huge deflator for a lot of people, to go on what you went through and then lose. But yet you came back, and I would argue for those out there that you went through more than anybody else because of what you spoke about here earlier, and then even the world title match. So to me, I think if anything, you went through more than anybody else.
And I do appreciate that. But I love going for that low blow, man. If anybody watches my tape, you know I love some low blows, and I love getting the upper hand. But sorry, that's just me glazing.
I'm looking. I watched the match, and I watched the match with Justin. Looking at you, I know you've been here a couple times already. I've watched your work, but did you feel, at least in your face, I see a more determination, more of just a focus. Did you feel more of a determination in this?
In the gauntlet? Yes. And I will tell you why. When I was booked to fight Justin, I knew in my head that I could beat him very easily. And we had that match. He hit me with a lot of moves that I haven't seen from him before. And
yeah, it was a good match. I got to be honest. There was a lot. I think that there was a lot in this match particular that was a much better match, to be honest.
And he got the upper hand. And I went backstage, got that number, and immediately I was determined to win. Like I said, when I got that number 7, I didn't know who I was going to be fighting. I didn't know who was going to be that final man. I didn't know if he was going to be fresh. I don't know. I didn't even know if it was going to be the number 1 entrant who lasted all the way. But getting that opportunity, very rarely do people get an opportunity to be the number 1 contender for the world title twice in one night. I'm not going to take that for granted. I've never taken anything from ALW for granted. And winning this and being a part of this match, and when I found out it was Trey Mysticality left, I knew I was going to win, hands down. And that determination that I had from the back, as you can see, I'm just chopping away at him until, he reverses because he doesn't like taking chops. But anyway, sorry. The determination, it was through the roof with this match. As soon as I entered, from the time I left, and we'll get to the ending here in a little bit, because that determination it kind of bled through at that ending. What did you say, Mr. Reverend Tom?
I think that there's no question from what I saw in the Justin match to what I saw in the match with Trey. I feel in some ways there was a resiliency. A lot of times guys come on here and they get the title shot. It's great. And it's a big moment. But even though you went through everything you went through, it's kind of what I kept thinking throughout the entire time. Champ was the back of your shirt. The back of your shirt is I will fear no evil. I will fear no evil. And that's really what your week has been. It was very easy for you to kind of just say, okay, you know what? I went through something and I didn't have to go back out there. I didn't have to compete in a ring. But you were like, nope, I want to go out there. I want to be here. You promoted the event here 2 weeks ago. You did it. You went out and had the match with Justin, and it could have been an excuse to say, you know what? I don't want to go and have that match, or I lost because of whatever reason, but you went right back out there and competed, and here you are.
At the end of the day, the first time I came on Sportswire and I dropped all the Hiroshimas that I did, my one thing that I said is I will always tell the truth until the day I die. I will be the one person in this community to speak the truth, whether that be about backstage, whether that be about in the yard. I will always speak that truth. And I made promises to that entire locker room. I made a promise to the entire crowd. Because let's face it, if I wasn't in this gauntlet, who's a worthy number one contender? The crowd deserves better, and I am that better in ALW.
I think there's no question that you went through a lot, and you've said a lot, and I think clearly there's a champion, but there's a face. There's a face not only of All Legendary Wrestling, but maybe a future face of the backyard wrestling circuit. And you know what? I'm going to say it. I know that you've been the Blizzard champion. I know you've held it for like 5 years and you've been here before. Sure, I know you've had your struffles with Big Man Cam. You know, we saw what happened with Justin. But I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it for those that are listening and watching here on Sportswire Radio before we play the confrontation. I'll put the volume up. A star was born in the backyard wrestling circuit. A star was born Saturday, August 17th, 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody remembers the moment in 1996. Stone Cold Steve Austin wins the King of the Ring. And he has the famous Austin 316 moment. But you know what? The famous moment in the backyard wrestling circuit, August 17th, 2024. The evil angel Judas, who stood death in the eye, looked at it, defeated it, 2 days later, returns to All Legendary Wrestling and has his own Austin 316-like moment and wins the Golden Gauntlet. And not only does he win the Golden Gauntlet, he puts himself as the future of the backyard wrestling circuit. Mark my words, this is the day that the evil angel Judas, as the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters, the Reverend Tom Bryce says, this was the day a star was born in the backyard wrestling circuit, and the evil angel Judas. And look what we have here on our screen. And I'm going to put the volume up because this is a guy I know a little bit about, and I'm sure our audience does as well.
You fellas be interested? It's a short drive down south. You in?
I'll be there.
All right. Okay, brother.
So let me get this straight. You want to come out here, invite me to a super show? You want to invite ALW versus DKW, Backyard Havoc?
Yeah. Why not?
Well, let me tell you something. This man wants to call himself the heart and soul of ALW.
I give it to him.
Everybody back there wants to call himself the heart and soul of ALW.
Yeah, good locker room.
Well, yeah, we do have a good locker room. You know why? It's all because of me.
Why is it because of you?
Listen here, Val. I don't know where you came from. Actually, I do know where you came from. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this man came from DKW all the way to ALW to be a part of our gauntlet tonight. How about that, right? You took time out of your not so busy schedule, because let's face it, how many shows has DKW put on in the last year? And how many times have I been out?
Wait. Do you not remember the biggest show in the backyard scene was that Summer Bash in July?
You want to hype up Summer Bash, and you want to think Summer Bash is the greatest professional wrestling show that Ohio has ever had. Well, guess what? You just came into my backyard. This roster doesn't need your roster. We don't need veterans like you stinking up that locker room because it's people like me. At 19 years old, I am the longest reigning Blizzard champion. I am a former ALW champion. And let's face it, at this next event, I will be ALW champion.
I've yet to see that.
I want you to actually show up and wrestle at our next event. How about you show up and take on a challenge? Because you've been wrestling 20 years. I haven't seen shit, buddy.
And you ain't watching much. I'm the legend of the yard. I have faced Omen Black. I have faced Soldier GP. I have faced Sean Jovi.
And lost.
Who have you faced?
It's veterans like you that make people hate professional wrestling.
Veteran, shut up!
20 years you've been in this industry? And
20
you,
years.
You have faced guys like the Boogeyman. You have faced guys out in Michigan and Indiana.
Yep.
Well, like I said, I haven't seen shit from you. And until you can prove it here, I'm not going to accept any offer. So how about you get out of my way?
Wait, you're going to just disrespect a legend of the backyard. Who the hell do you think
Legend
you are?
of the backyard. You
Legend
think you're
of the
a legend
backyard.
of the backyard?
Yeah, I've
For
done
20
more
years.
than you've done in the last, 19 years of your life? I've been wrestling longer than you've been alive.
You act like somebody like me would respect that. Because in the 1 year I've been wrestling in ALW, I've accomplished more than you ever have. I don't need to face fake professional wrestlers to prove myself.
Okay. What are you? Who have you faced? Who are you? Who is Judas? Because I don't know shit about Judas. I respect a man like Trey. Trey missed the cow.
Didn't even say his
This?
name right.
But
What
he's
is
got to
this?
respect. If he
The
respects him,
Lion?
he's got to say his name right.
Are you the
Yep.
lion, the Judas? What are you?
Maybe the dementia's kicking in for those old people already. You would have come into my company to pretend you don't know who I am.
Just did.
Maybe I show you who I am. Because I am sick and tired of veterans.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, it's a Donnybrook here. I mean, this is a brawl out here. We need help. We need ALW wrestlers, ALW officials here. I mean, Darkron, the legendary Darkron, the evil angel Judas, the 2024 Golden Gauntlet winner are just, I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, we see everybody from the ALW locker room. They've all just unfolded. It's turned into chaos, utter chaos. I don't think we've ever seen this in Ohio backyard wrestling as we speak. Wait a minute! They're going back at it! They're going back at it! Darkron and Judas. Holden Holloway can't separate it. Jerry Austin's there, the champion. Trey Mysticality. KP Marv, the international champion. And we just see everybody unfold. And Jerry and Holden Holloway are now fighting. I mean, it's turned into everybody in the AL locker room has just unfolded and just, it's, oh my goodness. We need some help. We need some officials to break this in. We see it's even going into the crowd. The ALW fans are almost like, what is going on out here? We see chairs being thrown. We just see everything unfolding here. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it's a havoc before a havoc even is to take place November 9th to November 10th in Cleveland, Ohio. The back, wait a minute. It's Big Man Cam. It's Big Man Cam.
Who the hell is this?
Everybody needs to listen to me very clearly. I just got word from the ALW board of directors that everyone on the ALW roster will be at Backyard Havoc, whether they like it or not. That includes you, Judas. That little contract that you signed making you full-time puts you at the company's will. So you will be there whether you like it or not. Dark Cloud, I'd like to personally apologize for anything. Backyard Havoc is supposed to be friendly.
Hey, no, I can't handle big man Cam. Judas, I'll see your ass in the
Ladies and gentlemen.
Doesn't feel so good when somebody does it to you, eh?
Ooh.
Now everybody get backstage. You gotta share the platform.
And we see the ALW locker room all of a sudden unfold and descend. And we see KP Mars. And we see the Ragger. We see Justin, our champion. Obviously, our standard bearer in ALW for now. And then we see Elton Conway and Judas. The two voices of reason, maybe. And then we see
Come on, get back there.
Judas 817. I'm declaring it. It's Judas 817. They said it was Austin 316 when he won the King of the Ring. But August 17th was Judas 817.
That's the show, folks.
That moment, he won.
We will
That
see you next
golden
time.
ball, and he had the
People that go to the
confrontation that
Facebook page for more
this
updates.
circuit we'll never see here. Big Man Cam is obviously
I
not
don't know
getting
what to say.
here right now. Well, he didn't know what to say because you know why? He's about to have pizza and James Taylor's watching. But there we see the ALW logo. That's where you need to hit that sub button for. And as a matter of fact, we got another subscriber since I posted that video. There you have it. But
Amazing. Hey, but even if we go up by one, that's something. That means we're making a difference.
we're going to keep going up because I will personally make that happen. But Judas. Now, we saw the video and we saw what happened there. And my first reactions is, should Darkron, the one and only Darkron, the man that obviously is the host of Summer Bash, he is the host of the Backyard Havoc. He went to Trey Mysticality first. Were you expecting him to put the handshake out to you first? Is that what this all stems about? And what do you want to say on that to begin?
So, Darkron being a part of the Golden Gauntlet, that was something the board of directors got done the day of. So, I'll say this, Darkron, I'll shout you out for it. You did a great job in the gauntlet, and ALW does appreciate you being in that gauntlet. ALW does appreciate the fact that we can actually start getting people to be at events so we can have a big event like the Golden Gauntlet. Me, on the other hand, ALW is my home. I see it as somebody kicking down the door and expecting dinner to be ready. Darkron, I love what you do. I love your work. I love what you are doing with Summer Bash. Summer Bash was phenomenal. I watched that entire show. Wish I could have been there, honestly. My one regret in wrestling right now is that I didn't go to Summer Bash. But the fact that you respect Trey Mysticality, you respect the man that wants to go off my coattails and steal everything that I have to be greater himself. Small Town Center, that came out after I became Judas and I took over the backyard wrestling community. The fact that you shook Trey's hand before mine, I understand it. People don't like me and people will forever not like me, whether that be in the locker room, backstage, that be seeing me at Walmart, or even in the yard. People don't have to like me. And I respect that. And I respect everyone I work with. Once again, you don't have to like everybody you work with. But I do respect him. But the fact that he shook Trey Mysticality's hand, he offered the hand to Trey, somebody who doesn't even deserve to be at a big show like Backyard Havoc. It boils my blood that he wants to extend that offer to him. And I get it.
Because Trey Mysticality kisses the ring. Trey Mysticality is a guy that he's gone to places that are like XCW, that They know who Darkron is, and he's playing the game. Trey Mysticality wants to train to be a wrestler. He's going for the training. He's doing the ring announcing. He wants to be in with everybody. He wants to fit in. He wants to be a follower. Judas ain't no follower. Judas is a guy that beats to his own drum. Judas is a guy that goes out there and you do what you want. You're the evil angel. You had your 8:17 moment, and Darkron almost didn't give you that moment. That was your moment. A star was born this past Saturday. A star was born in the future of professional and backyard and underground, any type of wrestling scene you were in. That was your Austin 3:16 moment. And Darkron shakes the hand of Trey Mysticality. Is that because Trey Mysticality is a guy that he's going along to get along? XCW, training. He's going along and he's kissing the ring. Judas ain't kissing nobody's ring. Judas has been born in ALW and he risked his life to go out there and have a moment. A star was born and Darkron didn't acknowledge that. That bother you?
And I have a theory. Darkron wrestled Trey in that gauntlet. Darkron made his debut in ALW against Trey. Trey ended up getting that win. They shook hands before the match, shook hands after the match. I understand that. I once again, I respect everybody I work with. Don't have to like them, but I respect them. The fact that Justin comes out with the title and he puts it in my face and says, next event, you get another shot. That should have ended the show right there. I understand that was the script. The script was that was the end of the show. I started making my way to the back, and Darkron's music hits. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, this man is clinging on to something to remain relevant. Because let's face it, DKW, what other than Summer Bash, what have they put on? I'm back there in ALW wrestling every 2 weeks at this point. That's what we've been trying to do since ALW launched, was every 2 weeks. I've been fighting and working and training.
Are you meaning to tell me that Darkron should have been there to pass the torch to Judas, saying, you know what, here's this Ohio backyard wrestling legend, this Ohio legend that, sure, he's done some big moments. Absolutely. His career goes back to the 90s. Absolutely. I mean, he's what James Taylor would describe as an old head. So what means to me, because in wrestling, isn't there a term of passing the torch? And so you were expecting Darkron to pass the torch to Judas, saying, you know what, from one Ohio backyard wrestling legend to another. Just thank you, Judas, for all you're doing. And I'm just here to shake your hand. I'm just here to obviously, thank you for carrying on the legacy of myself and my brother, Matthew Forsaken. And that's why I'm here. And that's what you were expecting, right? Darkron to be here and doing the right thing in wrestling, right? Doing the right thing in our sport and passing the torch.
Here's my thing about passing the torch. I understand that people would expect him to pass that torch on to me. I do not expect the passing of the torch. You know why I don't expect it? Because in my brain, I know I'm going to earn that passing of the torch. And I'll say, I want to announce this on Sportswire because I actually I have a little something from this.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, what do you got first? Because I know I have something in my possession actually about this, but go ahead.
So everybody wants to call Darkron a professional and a 20-year veteran, and he is probably Mr. Backyard Wrestling in Ohio. I will give him that. But as of that, backstage, phenomenal guy. He was helping everyone, the young guys.
Oh, Darkron's, I think, the nicest. If I were to say Mr. Nice Guy in the backyard circuit, Darkron wins in a landslide. I think Darkron, you couldn't pay somebody to say anything negative about Darkron. I mean, even guys like Anthony Steele, who say everything, they loves Darkron. Anthony Steele, he would take his shirt off for Darkron. There are guys on this platform. I mean, I love Darkron. Personally, I think Darkron is actually, I'm going to say it, of all the people I have interviewed and had on this platform in almost 6 years, this includes professional athletes, politicians, other guys around the world. He's easily the nicest guy I've ever dealt with. Easily the nicest guy I've ever spoken to. But you got something to say on that.
So, yeah, he's a nice guy. But that is all a lie.
Okay. Why is that a lie? Tell me why.
Oh, it's all a facade that he puts on to that's probably why he's been in this industry for 20 years. At 40 years old, he's been Mr. Nice Guy. Well, I'm here to announce that everybody in the backyard community knows one of the biggest things is you need to help clean up after a show. You help tear down the ring,
tear down the mats, set it up. If you guys in your cases, you guys have obviously the banner to take down. You have the sound system. You guys obviously have people that show up with the help with the chairs, put them away, arrange the place. Sure, absolutely. I could certainly see all of that and why it's an important task for sure.
But when you're backstage after a show, I understand that you're a legend. And I understand that you've done this for 20 years, so you don't want to pick up chairs or do anything else. But Darkron was nice enough to leave a little gift at the ALW arena. If you don't know, this is...
Oh, I think I know what that is. Yeah, I think I can recognize. Is that the DKW logo?
I want to say that this is it's a pretty crappy logo at that. But it is a DKW hat, and this is the hat that he wore to the event. Left it sitting right in the yard, and he drove his 2 hours. Didn't help set up. No respect for anybody. So Darkron, I'll tell you this, buddy. But I'll tell you this, Darkron. I know you love backyard wrestling. I know you love professional wrestling. You love being the nice guy. Mm-hmm. I don't like being the nice guy. So I'll tell you this right now. You come back to ALW because that's the only way you're ever going to get this back.
Well, I got something for you in about 5 minutes. I actually have something from the Backyard Havoc Board of Directors. They've instructed me to put up on the screen. I'm going to do that. I'm going to hold that for a few minutes, but you touched upon something interesting that's been brought up on this platform. You talked about DKW, correct? You brought up DKW and their company?
Absolutely. I mean the company that hasn't had a show other than Summer Bash.
I was going to ask you about that because do you, in your opinion, right now, this is your opinion. Obviously, you're an Ohio backyard wrestling star now. You're obviously a guy that's been in the circuit for a bit. You've obviously gotten a chance to get a front row seat about what goes on in the backyard wrestling circuit. Do you think, though, that a company like DKW, as an example, they're living off the success of other companies? You know, like, for example, there's ROEW, right? ROEW, which is run by James Taylor. It has Jack Delta, who's here Sunday night, 10 o'clock. He's the ROEW World Heavyweight Champion, according to James Taylor. They have the likes of CJ Black, the good guy. They have the likes of Jason Storm, the Cyclone. They have had the likes of Aaron Blaze. And a guy like you, young guy, obviously, future star, been a star, probably a little bit more established. He's been in the yard a little longer. Other guys like Jacob Collins, who I'm sure that Big Man Cam has absolutely a thing or two to say on. And certainly Mr. Cam himself. And DKW's living off the success of that company. And then there's famously that company, the IMF, the Iowa Midwest Federation Wrestling Company. A slew of everybody there and the IMF. And really, the IMF, they kind of made DKW. You know, this goes back, for those that may not know or newer to this platform, this goes back to a year and a half ago when Soldier GP and Omen Black were looking for somewhere to go, looking for a place to travel, looking for somewhere to be able to show their ways to collaborate, to bring their message out there. The IMF took a shot at DKW. We're going to get to that. And maybe a lot of people would say that the IMF is kind of made DKW, and DKW has been riding the gravy train of all the things the IMF has done. And maybe even you might want to say WCE of all people. Yes, WCE and that little company in Wisconsin, the likes of Sean Jovi, Nicholas Crenson, Darkfire, James Marshall, and yes, Craven Rage. DKW's worked with them in the IMF. Maybe you could even say DKW's living off the WCE name, and maybe DKW sees that they want to live off the name of ALW, especially where the future stars play, like the Evil Angel Judas, and how about Holden Holloway? So, from your vantage point, Mr. Judas, the Evil Angel, is DKW living off the success of other companies, and they're trying to do the same thing here in ALW? And really, DKW's just, it's not a thing. It's just 3 guys or 2 guys and a kid, and really, DKW is just a figment of people's imagination. They're really just living off the high horse of other promotions, and they're going to do the same to you guys. What do you think on all that?
So, first of all, I do want to apologize. If you didn't see or hear, I just had to take out trash.
Ooh, boy, you know what? Oh, Medusa did that once upon a time to the WWF Women's Championship on Nitro. You mean to tell me, wait a minute, is that the DKW hat, and you're throwing the DKW hat here in the garbage live? Oh, my God.
I did it once. Do you want me to do it again? Oh, let's make a highlight of this. I mean, it's a trash bag. I mean, I'm pretty trashy right now. There's just some stuff, and this is Exhibit A, so I'll just dump it in here. And
oh my God!
Darkron wears it everywhere.
Judas, we told people Judas was firing shots, and I don't think I've ever seen that in this platform's history. We saw a DKW paraphernalia, discarded, wasted, thrown away. Judas, DKW, are they living off everybody's success, or what do you think on all that?
I mean, quite obviously, I threw the hat away. That means there's got to be something to it. And I'll tell you this: there's something called natural selection. It is the best survive off the worst. You move up the food chain, and we're having this right now with Blizzard, where Blizzard is very low on the backyard wrestling scale. ALW is very much above that. However, Blizzard, we are working to get there. DKW is doing a great job of, like you said, latching on to things. Sorry,
they're riding the coattails of places like IMF, ROEW, even WC. WC was the first company to come on this platform. And from your vantage point, is that you obviously think that then?
It's smart. If you are a wrestler, you want to get as many opportunities as possible. They are smart. But if they want to call themselves a company, you can't really call yourself a company when you are not extending the invite. You can't call yourself a company when you are not putting on shows. Blizzard just got started back up. People keep saying that Blizzard isn't a company. Yeah, I've been champion for 5-6 years, but I've only had a couple defenses. That's okay, because we are still building to get there. All Legendary Wrestling. We have gotten to the point where we can put on phenomenal shows.
Hey, you're here on Sportswire. Listen, ALW, to be honest, a couple months ago, I mean, could we come on the platform? And I was like, yeah, all right. I'm going to give you guys a shot. And now ALW's becoming a thing. It's becoming a legitimate thing. I mean, we see it, 120 some odd subscribers now. A company that's already got, in a few hours, 50 some odd views, and just the whole Golden Gauntlet. I mean, this is becoming a thing. And that's obvious in that you're a new thing.
Yeah. And ALW, and this is the difference between ALW and DKW. We want to be taken seriously. We want to extend that invite to others because ALW is becoming bigger, stronger, better. And we one day will take over the backyard wrestling scene in Ohio.
Do you think that, Big Man Cam talked about, though, the Backyard Havoc was about fun. He talked about the fact this was for everybody to get together, but are you meaning to tell me that you're fighting for ALW's superiority, are you meaning to tell me that you're fighting really for the fact that ALW should be the superior backyard wrestling company in the state of Ohio? You mean to tell me that to you this isn't friendly, that battle lines are being drawn tonight? Is that what you're telling me right now?
So I was told about Backyard Havoc. It was actually this stream where you actually...
I was the man that said, I'll certainly see and ask around and see what I could do. And you know,
look what's happening. We got some great stuff happening with Backyard Havoc. But if people want to see it as friendly competition, it's supposed to be a good time. Okay. That is okay. That's fine with me. Mm-hmm. I will have friendly competition. Do I know who's better? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, if you want to make it friendly competition, we'll keep it friendly competition. We'll keep it fun. But
is it fun? Is it fun? Because Darkron, I mean, he's the veteran, right? He's the old head, and he didn't pass the torch to you. I mean, you're supposed to. Is it in wrestling? Some would say that Darkron came to you and he should have said, you know what? Congratulations, Judas. Congratulations. You know, why didn't Darkron say, you know, Judas, maybe I could talk to James Taylor and see what you did in the Golden Gauntlet and maybe get a spot for you in ROEW. You know, IMF, right? IMF runs all these shows. And you know what? Maybe I could talk to Soldier. Or maybe Gary. Maybe I could call Gary and see Soldier. You know, Big Man Cam, he wrestled in all these places. And you know, why not Judas? I mean, maybe you were expecting Darkron to say, you know what? We're brothers. We're Ohio. We're the state of Ohio, right? We're a team, right? We're basically neighbors. What are we, an hour from each other? An hour and a half, 2 hours from each other?
Hour and a half drive.
Yeah. We're friends. We should be on the same team. We should be over at each other's house every night. We should be barbecuing. We should be singing Kumbaya and join me. Extend the hand. You know, extend that hand. You know, like, for example, on this platform, every night I'm on the air, right?
Correct.
I always extend the hand. I extend my hand to my guest. Some of them want it. Some of them do not. Were you expecting Mr. Darkron to extend that hand to you and have your Ohioan brother join you in arms in ROEW and join you in the IMF and other places? Were you expecting that? Because Big Man Cam didn't do that for you.
That's a great question, and I'll give it just straight up. I have been raised where I don't expect anything from anyone. I've been told I need to earn everything that I've done, and in the backyard community, in the ALW in Ohio, I feel like I've done a great job doing that. I've done a great job being Blizzard champion, ALW champion, which, by the way, I'm going to win that belt back pretty soon, so you'll be seeing a 2-time ALW champion. Once again, me working my way up to it. I have never been handed anything in the backyard community. Big Man Cam, he did offer me ALW at the first start, but who's kicking off the ALW revolution? I made ALW revolution.
But he didn't offer you other places. Big Man Cam didn't do that. He didn't do that. He didn't say, hey, let's join me. Extend that hand. He did not extend that hand. And Darkron should have been there as a guest, right? He was a guest, an extended guest, an Ohioan brother. And I know after what you did, having the Judas 817 moment, the day that a star was born in the backyard wrestling circuit, a day that a man has been made, that was your moment. Just like when we saw Hogan and Warrior, right? WrestleMania 6. And that was a moment. The Warrior's career was made, right? Stone Cold, James Taylor, Mr. Stone Cold fan, right? Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 14 or WrestleMania 13. Austin's bleeding, doesn't give up. He doesn't tap out. Stone Cold is born. The Attitude Moment. It's all born, right? All that stuff, right? We see everything in wrestling. The passing of the torch. We see moment after, Brock Lesnar defeats The Undertaker and ends the streak, right? That was a moment in time, right? The passing of the torch. Roman Reigns even, right? Roman Reigns being champion for 3.5+ years. John Cena leading the Ruthless Aggression era, right? And 817, that was Judas 817. And that was the day the legendary Darkron, a Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer, the man that has been at the forefront of the All Wrestling Matters movement, a man that is, you're absolutely right, a living legend, a man that is endeared upon. He is beloved, a universally beloved figure. And you were expecting that universal beloved figure to pass down all of his success, all of the things he's done in our circuit, to the man that's going to be the future for the next 20 years and go out and do the things that Darkron has laid upon for you, Judas, to continue his legacy.
So I love how you talked about a ton of wrestling moments. You talked about Austin 316 being born, Austin bleeding in the sharpshooter, the streak being broken. Those are all wrestling moments. And like you said, 817, I think I'm going to take that and run with it, because 817, that day was my big moment in ALW and backyard wrestling.
I would say you're the future of backyard wrestling today. Right now, I'll say it. Today is August now the 20th. A star was born on 8/17. A man that looked upon death. Had his own friend even die a few weeks prior in an unfortunate accident, a tragic accident. He deals with all these odds. He wrestles for a company that practically he was on death's door with. He wrestles a world title match, loses that match, had all of that deflation, and comes back with all the odds against him in his own life and even losing a world title. And he still comes back to create maybe the greatest moment in the backyard wrestling that we've seen for an individual. That's where a star was born. Judas 8/17. And that moment, Darkron didn't acknowledge it. He acknowledged Trey Mysticality, a loser. Lost the international title. I mean, you nearly decapitated him and shook his hand. That would be like if everybody shook the Buffalo Bills' hands after losing 4 straight Super Bowls and said, yeah, they're the Super Bowl champions. How about the San Francisco 49ers? They've lost 4 NFC championship games or been in 4 championship games and lost 2 Super Bowls in 5 years. And we crown them. We congratulate them. But we didn't congratulate the Kansas City Chiefs. Why? We didn't congratulate the Chiefs because we were tired of looking at Taylor Swift and Travis? But we wanted to acknowledge the losers? That's what Darkron did. He went out and congratulated the loser. He went out and congratulated the San Francisco 49ers, but Judas is the Kansas City Chiefs. He won the Golden Gauntlet.
And like I said, you talked a lot about moments. That was my moment. And let's face it, Trey Mysticality, has he had a moment? He's won the international title. Great career starter for him. I will give him that. No world championship, but the international championship, that mid-card belt, that launched him into being the best mid-carder that he could be. Now, moment-wise, that is all he's done. And that is all Trey Mysticality will ever do. Now, me, on the other hand, I've had moments. I haven't had a moment. I've had moments, plural with an S, multiple. I've won the Blizzard title. I've won the ALW championship. Have I had lows? Absolutely. I got let go from ALW after I lost the championship. I came back. I lost to Big Man Cam, and that was an all-time low for me. But now I had another moment. I won that Golden Gauntlet. And if Darkron wants to give Trey Mysticality a moment, Trey Mysticality just got the biggest moment of his career. However, the moments for Trey Mysticality, they're cut off after that. Me, on the other hand, as the evil angel of backyard wrestling, Reverend Tom, you said it best. I am the future of the backyard Ohio scene in wrestling. I will have many moments in wrestling. I will have multiple moments. I will be champion over and over and over again. Heck, maybe after I beat Justin this time, I'll hold that championship until I retire. Maybe that will be all my moments.
Maybe you'll go on an 8-year championship run like Bruno Sammartino had once upon a time. You know, people talk about Roman's reign. People talk about what Hogan did in the 80s. Your run in Blizzard, well, it'll pale into comparison about what you could do with the ALW championship. You know, people talk about Ledger Shade and his run in TBW.
Oh, yeah.
Or Craven Rage in WCE. And you know what? I've heard a lot about this tonight, and I apparently just received word from the Backyard Havoc Board of Directors, I have an announcement because, they've been hearing back and forth what you've been saying and the questions I've been asking you about Darkron, and they've seen some of the things about Trey Mysticality. And I have breaking news for those that are listening and watching here in Sportswire Radio, especially in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters. The evil angel Judas, apparently, as Big Man Cam correctly pointed out, you are contractually obligated to show up at the Backyard Havoc as an ALW employee. And I have something that's going to, it's going to actually confirm that you are an active competitor in the Backyard Havoc, taking place November 9th to the 10th in beautiful Bremen, Ohio, which, by the way, was the home of Summer Bash, which is where you see my shirt for. So I'm going to have to put this up on the screen because this is going to... Okay, you're sure? I'm going to have to because the board of directors have instructed me to do that. And I want to give the people what they want because, ladies and gentlemen, you are now in a match officially in the Backyard Havoc tag team competition. The Small Town Center and the Ohio Backyard Wrestling legend, Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer, one of the founding fathers of the All Wrestling Matters movement and the host of Summer Bash, Darkron. You're going to be squaring off against him. Your tag team partner, Matthew Forsaken. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a match that I'm going to say 11-9 or 11-10 whenever it takes place. This is going to be the future match you're going to want to see and put everything on the line to go out and watch because this is, ladies and gentlemen, a match that you want to talk about tension, you want to talk about personal, you want to talk about a Backyard Havoc where the shots are going to be fired and it's going to be more shots fired than any world war or any other war put together. There you have it. Trey Mysticality, Darkron, against the evil angel Judas and Matthew Forsaken. We're all forsaken.
If the board of directors, and let's make sure this match is made official, correct?
I have received this from the board of directors. I was
Sportswire. It is announced that it will.
Correct. They have allowed me. They said I should show this. This is a first. As a matter of fact, it has not even been posted on social media. Now, I will obviously take care of it. I will make the clip for this. We'll have it tomorrow morning up for sure. But this is a first worldwide for anybody watching and listening here. This match is official now.
Well, all I'm going to say about this match, Trey Mysticality is a man I know very well. 0-4. If I don't wrestle him before Backyard Havoc, Reverend Tom, you know what that's going to be?
0-5.
5. 5-time. And Darkron, I know you don't know me very well. I know we've had one interaction back.
Oh, he knows you tonight. He knows you tonight. No. He knows you tonight.
Knows who I am now. But all we had backstage was a simple handshake. Hey, I'm Judas. Hey, I'm Darkron. And then you interrupt me in my moment, 8:17. Reverend Tom said it here first. You want to interrupt me and make yourself relevant again. Darkron, I respect everything that you've done for the business. I respect everything you've done for Ohio Backyard Wrestling. But I'm going to tell you this right now. You better stop clinging on to young people like me who are 19 years old, who work their tails off in the backyard wrestling community. You attach yourself like a leech to be able to be relevant again. Well, let's face it, you were relevant 15 years ago. If you want to go back to your prime, I'm sorry, but we haven't been able to invent a time machine yet. So, Darkron and Trey Mysticality, if you want to team up against me and Matthew Forsaken is a guy I don't know very well, but trust me, we're going to work very well. It's going to be like peanut butter and jelly.
He's a man that has certainly done a lot. He's a man that has been very successful in his own right. Has taken a different path than his brother.
And I respect him for taking that path. He's done great for himself. And is the argument, can he be better than Darkron? And this is not going to be me giving my opinion. I speak the truth and nothing but the truth that I always have and I always will until the day God strikes me down and takes me away from this earth. Judas and Matthew Forsaken will come out on top. Not a prediction, it's a spoiler. Because Trey Mysticality can't beat me, and I know Darkron. Now, I know he's going to watch this back because he's working.
Oh, he's here in the chat. No, he's here. He is here, and he is.
He's live watching this.
And I'll tell you what, I'm even going to go further. You know what? We're going to really go further because I see there's a lot of people out there watching this right now. I tell you what, because I'm the man that you said in your words came up with the idea of the Backyard Havoc. I'm the man that announced this match. I tell you what, we're going to really do something for the people. I'm going to make a guarantee on this platform. Before November 9th, we're going to get you and Mr. Kron on this platform in a face-to-face. You want to really talk about creating fireworks? You want to talk about Hiroshimas? You want to talk about shots being fired? I'll put the two of yous live in a face-to-face before November the 9th in Bremen, Ohio.
Sure about that? Are you sure you want to do that? Because we both know that I can talk circles around Darkron. Heck, I can wrestle circles around Darkron at this moment in time. Because me at 19 is better than he will ever be at 40 years old. So you're telling me you want to have a face-off between me and Darkron. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this right now. We may see a murder live on Sportswire because I'm here in a freaking body bag because he can't talk around me. You saw it live on ALW. He can't even hold a microphone correctly. He can't even speak to the audience. We're both sitting over here doing the Hulk Hogan, trying to listen to him. And Darkron, I'll tell you this right now. If you want to come face-to-face with me live on Sportswire, do it. It's going to be phenomenal. Not for you, for me, because it's going to launch my career into the hemisphere. That face-off will take me and make me the superior evil angel, not just of Ohio.
I'm going to say it right now on this platform, and I have the post on Instagram I'm going to put up here shortly before we move on shortly, is that, mark my words, this man, Judas, the evil angel, the Blizzard champion, guys that come on this platform regularly, I don't think they can hang with this guy. I think that this guy, this young man, there's some well-to-do names in the backyard wrestling circuit. If they didn't find out tonight, and they certainly didn't find out on August 17th, they're going to be finding out real soon about the evil angel Judas and what he's about to do in the backyard wrestling circuit. You rest assured, and mark my words, that tonight a superstar was born. And the shots that are fired tonight, only just getting started. So, yeah, I want to see Darkron and the evil angel Judas face-to-face before the 9th of November. You know why? Because then everybody will see what's to come at the Backyard Havoc and why you need to go follow, and make sure you keep up to date with all the latest events that the Backyard Havoc has to offer. And I also have the announcement here officially on Instagram. Thank you very much for the board of directors for giving us that here, because we have it right now. I'm going to take this off the screen and pull this back up because I'm going to give you the opportunity for the audience to actually see it now right here on Sportswire Radio. You get a chance to see it. So I'm going to take this off the screen and go like this before I get to some comments. And I don't know why it's not coming up. It should come up now. Now it's going to come up. Nope. Now it should come up right here. No, it's not coming up. I don't know why. Okay, so I'm going to take this off the screen. I'm going to go like this. I know the problem. So I'm going to go like this. In the meantime, I want people to follow All Legendary Wrestling. I want people to follow Judas. Well, I fixed that technical glitch because you're going to follow him here on a couple of platforms, first of all. So make sure you support him there. You're also going to make sure you support All Legendary Wrestling on a whole list of other platforms here. And you need to support those that are out there doing the things that we want, because it's about all wrestling matters. And Judas has definitely made his name and some here. So now it should come up right here. There we go. Now I've got it. Unfortunately, I had to refresh it. Now, right now on the screen, live officially on Instagram. You have it here. First worldwide on my platform and also the Backyard Havoc's platform. There it is. You got it right there. Trey Mysticality, Darkron versus the Evil Angel Judas, the Blizzard World Champion, and Matthew Forsaken. There it is. That's the Backyard Havoc's Instagram page. Please go out there and support them. Please go out. And I tell you, believe me when I'm saying this, this is going to be a show. Everybody talks about summer. Falls are different now. There's going to be a Backyard Havoc in Ohio that they're going to be comparing wars to this. I don't think things are fun anymore in the Backyard Havoc. I don't think there's any more friendly competition now. Tonight's no more friendly. No more fun and games. Welcome to the jungle.
You know, it's they want to see it as fun, and people want to see it as this great show. It's not going to be fun for anybody else because right now, Judas is going to beat both Darkron and Trey Mysticality. So it's only going to be fun for me and Matthew Forsaken because we are going to wipe the floor with Darkron and Trey Mysticality because I know I can beat Trey Mysticality. Haven't faced Darkron yet, but let's face it, at the end of the day, I think Judas is walking out with that W, and I know Matthew Forsaken can beat Darkron. And if you pair Matthew Forsaken and me against these two, ultimately, we're going to mesh better. So, and this goes to everybody who hasn't followed the Backyard Havoc page or haven't followed anything that we are all doing. Reverend Tom already said that we're going to see Darkron and Judas face off. And I don't see it as a face-off. I see it as a little duel, a little pistol duel. If you, one person is going to aim at the sky and one person is going to aim straight for the jugular, and that's going to be me because Darkron and everybody who hasn't followed or done anything, don't know anything about Backyard Havoc, you're going to end up in a body bag, just like Darkron is when we square off.
And Judas was living. He was living near people that were going to be in a body bag. He knows what it's like to be in a body bag. He was living in a hospital just days ago next to people who were getting ready to be prepared to be in the morgue, to have the coroner called, to get ready to put the embalmer out and make sure that the funeral starts X day, X time, be there. He knows firsthand. He's seen it. Before we get to a few final things, let me get to the chat because the people are fired up right now, as I knew they would be.
Everybody loves to diss on me and how I speak the truth on Sportswire. I'm ready for it.
But they're tuned in. They're tuned in. They're tuned in.
I got you to click, didn't I? That's
1 o'clock in the morning, I got 12+ people on YouTube, 10+ people on X. Darkron wants to say minutes ago he thought he could share some knowledge in the ALW locker room, but you don't want any.
I mean, I'll take any knowledge that you have. I mean, the only knowledge you probably have that you could share to us is experiences that you have. And you said that you face professional wrestlers like Omen Black, and you face all these great people.
Bon Jovi, Soldier GP, yes.
So many people. But Darkron.
So would you want the advice of Darkron on how to write coattails and other promotions?
Does he know how to beat those wrestlers? Does he know how to beat the wrestlers that are on a...
He wrestled, and by the way, he wrestled Jack Delta in a 3-way match with your tag team partner, and, well, Mr. Kron lost.
Yeah, how did that turn out? I saw that match. I'm sure everybody watching has saw that.
I watched it 2 weeks ago, yes. And I'm going to ask Mr. Delta about that. I'm going to ask him about this.
Yeah, and Jack Delta, he wiped the floor with them. If you watch it back, he wiped the floor with them. And granted, I'm 19 years old. I haven't had much experience, but I know that at the end of the day, a 19-year-old me is better than a 40-year-old. You know what? Hiroshima right now. A 19-year-old Judas is better than Darkron has ever been in his career. Not only at 40 years old as a veteran, as with 20 years experience, I will wipe the floor with Darkron personally. And
oh my God.
Out with that.
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, the fireworks, the shots, summer is far from over. We got a long way till November 9th. Rest assured. My brother Judas, I've always been the one to collab. You got a lot to learn.
Look,
yeah, Darkron can't come on the show. We kind of explained that already. Ox McCoy compared you to Richie Rich. He is Mr. Ox McCoy, my buddy, who's bound in blood, reigns in blood. He's on Team Kron. He's in the IMF because
Right.
DKW, they're riding the coattails of IMF. Some would say, right?
Exactly. That's what they do best. It's that little trailer following behind the big.
And they want to ride the coattails of ALW, right?
Right. Exactly. It's like a leech attached, or like just attaching that doesn't leave.
Well, there's more comments here. Big Man Cam loved the Richie Rich one. He did love that one. I respect Zilla. We'll go back. Let's go to other things, other comments of relevancy. Who isn't evil in the backyard wrestling circuit these days? But who tonight said things that most people wouldn't have been comfortable saying tonight? Darkron is a Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer, but next month, so will you. So will you.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned.
W Championship, it's game over. So
Game of Hall of Fame. We're gonna have the induction, the ceremony.
Darkron, if you would use that against me, go ahead. Go for the low-hanging fruit. Me, on the other hand, I wait until the face-off. I'll come up with some.
I cannot wait for that one. Yes, we hope Darkron as well. But he said, Ox, it's a hit or miss, but I'm all good. Well, he's all good until what tonight's happened, I guess. And what the hell? Oh, I don't know what they're talking about. Banger. Oh, yes. Ox's team defeated. By the way, Ox's team defeated Omen Black and Soldier GP in Iowa. But Darkron couldn't do that. Darkron couldn't do it.
I want to share all my experiences and knowledge. I want to be a veteran in the locker room. Are you sure that you can do that when you have more losses than I can count off the top of my head? And trust me, I can count pretty high. I'm a music major. I can count super high. I can count complex stuff. But when your losses are that high in professional wrestling, I don't even know.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm going to get to some more comments. Kron has been relevant for longer than you've been alive, chump. And he also says, though, he did find you very entertaining, but he's still on Team Kron. Ox actually does watch. Ox does watch these shows on Sportswire. He does tell me who's entertaining, who is not. So at the very least, he did give you a tip to the cap. Well, he doesn't have a cap because he's got a bald head, but he's basically going like this without the cap. Was you threw out the DKW hat in the garbage because
that's fair. You can, like I said, you don't have. I respect everybody. I don't have to like anybody. You don't have to like me. But at the end of the day, I do appreciate any great thing that you.
And Mr. McCoy certainly says that. Mr. Mysticality, who was the second place person in the Golden Gauntlet, says, Judas, me and Darkron are going to teach you a lesson in Backyard Havoc. And I pray to whatever God is out there, you get that ALW title because I'll be the first one to take it from you and keep it warm. But he's 0 for 4 against you, so it ain't going to happen.
He just said that he wants to he can beat me for the ALW championship once I win it at our next event. Trey Mysticality, you couldn't win a championship. I mean, the only reason you won a championship was because you talked to the board of directors because you didn't want to lose to Weaver when they
Listen, he needs to stick on being a good ring announcer in XCW. Let him focus on ring announcing in XCW.
Announcer Tom, he watches your shows all the time. He needs to take notes from you.
Well, he told me he does watch the shows, but I can't knock him on that. I will not knock him on that, but he should obviously continue the ring announcing because he's learning on that, and we encourage that.
Because it's
and Mr. Forsaken was pinned, but Mr. Kron was also a part of the match. He didn't win.
I mean, losers are losers, right? It doesn't matter if Forsaken was pinned. If he was pinned, he can learn from that. So,
well, Forsaken though, I think though he didn't show up to the Golden Gauntlet. He didn't show up and do anything toward you. It was really Darkron going to Trey Mysticality. He put the loser. He went to the loser, basically.
It's two people ganging up on a greater evil. And I'm okay. Matthew Forsaken and I, we can.
And you were ganged up in the title match with Justin. Look at what Jerry was doing to you. Well, I'm going to get to that for closing thoughts. I'm going to get to that.
Go right
we're not going to talk about Riker Wild right now. But we've talked plenty, almost for 2 hours. Riker Wild can be a different show. That'll be for Blizzard Wrestling coverage. That'll be when the guys come back on. That's Thursday. That's the IMF. Levi McDaniel's here Thursday. That'll be Thursday. I've pinned Soldier. I've pinned his brother. I've pinned Jordan Nets, who was the IMF World Champion, and he did win the Rumble in the Yard last year. So he's telling you his accomplishments.
Who's booking that show? Who's booking that show, Dark?
I wouldn't know that question. That would be a question you'd have to ask Darkron. I don't get in the middle.
I know that answer.
Oh, you know it. So you know the booking.
Absolutely. How do you think he won?
I don't know. See, I'm a very neutral observer. I don't know those things. That would be a question you'd have to ask the representatives of those companies. I would have to say that much. So that would be unfair for me to say bookings. We don't go into those details from my vantage point. You can certainly be entitled to that. Son, I have plenty of trump cards, but that may or may not be successful for Mr. Trump in November. And could Mr. Darkron be also like Mr. Trump, maybe not be so successful in November? Not to go down that road. But we'll see. I suppose it's I don't know, but I might like your odds more than, let's say, Miss Harris's odds over Mr. Trump, because Mr. Callity is 0 for 4 against you in a match. So from that vantage point, not taking any sides in political or other elections and matches, Mr. Callity's he's never won against you, and that ain't happening anytime soon. So,
and
that vantage point,
that stench that Trey Mysticality carries, because let's face it, that big guy who doesn't want to wear a shirt when he wrestles and wants to share everything that he has with everybody in the audience, he has a lot of stink to him. Trust me.
Well, I did see a Mercedes. Well, I did see a Mercedes Moné TikTok about that, and I don't want to regurgitate that stuff because it is 1:00 in the morning, and I'll leave that to the wrestlers. But yes, if you are a wrestler, figure that stuff out. I'm not going to preach on that because Lord knows I won't have much of a voice till the face-off. So we'll leave that at that. I think I've got the point till tonight, but I want to ask you before I move on to final thoughts, anything you want to say to Justin toward the rematch, to that championship you're looking to reclaim for a second time?
Absolutely. So Justin, I know you're going to watch this back because I know you're asleep right now, not watching it live, because you don't want to study tape. You don't want to watch it live. But you'll watch it back. You'll watch it with your daughter. You'll watch it with your wife. And you'll try to pinpoint everything that I say. And I know that's what you did last time, so I'm going to do this exact same thing. I want you to take out that notepad. I want you to write everything down, because I'm only going to say this once. You will need a guardian angel by your side at this match, at our next show. You will need as much help as you can get. That guardian angel to protect you from what I have in store for you, because you got one up on me. I'll give you that. You were a fighting champion. You got one up on me and beat me clean. You got me. That's okay, because now it's time for me to unleash everything that I have. It's time for me to show you why I am the evil angel of backyard wrestling. And you want that, you will need that guardian angel. It's not a want, it's a need at this point to keep you protected, because now you know how I wrestle. You won't expect anything from me. You are going to downplay me just like I downplayed you at our last event. Your guardian angel is going to be taken over by an evil angel, because I'm going to tell you this right now. You want me. You need me to be relevant. Same thing for Darkron, which we'll get to after this. But Justin, you want to talk about how you want to make my life hell on earth. And you want to talk about how hell will be brought upon the evil angel. Your guardian angel ain't going to save you, because an evil angel is going to save you. And I'm not going to send you to hell, because hell's empty right now, Justin. That's because every demon and every angel that is stuck down in hell is now living in Marion, Ohio. In the next event, I will bring hell on earth and show you why I am the evil angel of backyard wrestling, and I will walk out ALW champion, because I will no longer underestimate you, Justin. I know you're going to underestimate me. You're going to think it's easy. But when hell is brought upon you and your guardian angel looks at you, shrugs, and leaves, an evil angel will be waiting. So, Justin, bring your best, because I know I will.
Oh, I tell you what, the fireworks, I can't wait till November 9th, Bremen, Ohio, Backyard Havoc. And I can't wait till the next ALW show where Justin and Judas are going to have a rematch. Boy, that's going to be a doozy. But I got a lot of comments still, and I'm going to get to them. Darkron says he'll teach that man to beat you, meaning Mr. Mysticality. And the champion has arrived. He's watching live.
On his account. I love it. Beautiful.
Sitting back and taking notes, good sir. The only thing I expect is to walk out with that title. No angel needed. And we have our buddy Holden Holloway in the house. Judas always has an ace up his sleeve. Hollowed one, you need not to focus on Jerry. This person I think you very well may know, says hello. Definitely I think is on Team Judas, right? Team Judas?
Absolutely. I mean, she did hit me with a light tube against Cam. However, at the end of the day, family's family. And Justin knows that with Jerry. They've been teaming up against me since day one.
But Forsaken and Kron, they don't seem to be on the same family page. That's good for you. They don't seem to be on the same family page.
I'll take it. I'll absolutely take it. Winner's circle always open.
Well, we'll certainly see it if you are out there. Thank you very much for tuning in. What a big turnout tonight. I knew this was going to be. And if you're out there, hit the sub button for us. I'm almost at 1,000 subs. We're getting ALW closer to bigger subs, but I'm almost at 1,000. Judas maybe will roast me on Sportswire Live when I get to 1,000. Judas can roast me. Maybe he's the guy I'm going to pass the baton to. So, I may have to pass the baton to him because he seems to know how to talk. Stay healthy, Mr. Judas. See you soon. I think he means see you soon on this platform first. Ooh. Also, Justin, our champion, wants to say who doesn't bring their best. Guess you've been slacking there, Juice. He's feeling good because he beat you. He's feeling good because he beat you 2 days ago. But I think 8-17, it was the Judas 8-17 moment where a star was born, regardless.
Yeah, like I said, I came in underprepared. I will admit it. He was a fighting champion, and he beat me clean.
You were on death. You had death. Listen, death was knocking on your door. You had no time to prepare. And you literally came out of a hospital bed to go out there and compete because you are an ALW employee. You are happy to be back at ALW. You represented ALW, unlike, say, Big Man Cam, who's been going around touring as ROEW and BYW.
Yeah,
and you were touring
right now.
I don't know. James Taylor suspended him. That's a good question. I don't know. Yes, we appreciate him preaching it. I focus on untalented old people who shouldn't belong at ALW, so pipe down, old yeller. And he says, I take out the trash to clean ALW. Oh, boy, it's getting dicey here tonight. I'm telling you, it's getting dicey. Yes, hello there to the certain someone. I lost my championship to you because your old friend Jerry came out and interfered. I ain't going to let that happen to Judas. Sounds like this time the score is even, and it sounds like the odds are in the advantage of the evil angel Judas. We've spoken a lot tonight, and I want to now give you the floor for final words for Mr. Darkron before we sign off. Because I know the match, I'm going to put it up one more time for those that aren't knowing about it or need to be reminded. What would be your final words for the man that should have maybe passed the torch in that 8-17 moment, but now you might just beat it out of him, that torch, and he'll give it to you then. But until then, I'm going to give you the floor for your final words tonight on Mr. Darkron.
Darkron. You are a legend in this industry. You are one of the best backyard wrestlers I've ever seen. And I will give you that. And like Tom and I have prefaced before on this beautiful stream that we've had tonight, you don't have to like people, but you have to respect them. And I do respect you. But Darkron, you don't know who you're messing with. You haven't watched my tape, because if you've watched what I've done in ALW, Blizzard, anywhere that I've been, you would have known better than not to interrupt me and ruin my moment. Darkron, I've looked death in the face. It was a coin flip. I called tails, tails never fails, and I'm alive. I looked at the Grim Reaper, kicked him in the nuts, and said, I'm not going anywhere. I don't fear anything. I don't even fear death right now, because I am at a level that you have never been at in your 20-year career. And I'm super excited to show you why I am the evil angel of backyard wrestling and show you why at 19 years old I'm better than you have ever been. Because a 19-year-old Judas versus a 40-year-old Darkron, that's going to be death. And I don't fear death. And I will fear no evil, as everybody will know, because I am that evil. Darkron, we'll see you there, bud.
Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen, he stood at death's door, kicked it in the nuts, and is going on to maybe create one of the greatest moments in backyard wrestling history. And on this day, he solidified that he's about to really take his name up another notch and be a part of a match that, well, it's legendary, but it's going to be a legendary backyard havoc, because we're going to see Trey Mysticality and Darkron square off with the man that stood death in the eye and kicked it in the nuts and won, and some. The Evil Angel Judas, the Blizzard Wrestling Champion for nearly 5 years, alongside Matthew Forsaken. Boy, we are all forsaken on this one. This is a dream match. You are only going to get this at the Backyard Havoc. Backyard Havoc on Instagram, on TikTok, Backyard Havoc, HAVAC. Also, please support our friends, All Legendary Wrestling on YouTube, All Legendary Wrestling. And I can assure you, we're going to be talking a heck of a lot more with this. And oh, as I stated, Holden Holloway's live on September the 8th, 19 days from now, in prime time. I can't wait to hear what Holden Holloway has to say about this and the Backyard Havoc. Boy, it's going to be one for the ages. I can assure you, it's going to be a long way till the Havoc. And the shots, these guys like Holden Holloway and the Evil Angel Judas, I don't think they're missing. I can just say, just stay the heck out of their way. Well, I think we've said plenty tonight. I think you certainly have proven that you are a star in the making. Your star is shining. Maybe is as bright as it will be in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage on Sportswire Radio. We look forward to seeing you here very soon go in the Hall of Fame after you defeat Justin to win that ALW championship for the second time. And we look forward to seeing you and Mr. Kron on here face-to-face before the 9th of November. But until then, I'm going to give you the floor. I'm going to give you some closing thoughts, and anything else you want to plug, share, or say, I pass the baton to you.
Like you said, Reverend Tom, we've talked a lot tonight about a lot of things. And I think I've gotten everything off my chest. I know people are in the chat right now who are watching the ending of this stream who are saying,
oh, they're going to come back and watch it. You be promised, rest assured. They're going to come back on this one.
So I just want to leave everybody still watching at this beautiful hour tonight with this. Everybody says that I'm all talk. Everybody, there's no doubt I'm one of the best talkers in backyard wrestling. I've been told that, and
you proved it every time you come on here. Listen, I do this. We had a sermon on this, and your name did come up, I think, yesterday. I think it did come up. You know, and your name, you are definitely now, you're in the game. You're right up there with the guys that come on here. There's tonight, no question about it. What, 2 hours notice? 30 people plus? 1:30 in the morning? Yeah, you proved it.
And everybody still says I'm all talk. Well, I'm actually super excited for the 9th and 10th. I'm super excited for that tag team match. And I'm excited to show everybody what I can do when I beat Justin for that ALW championship. Because I'm not all talk. I am the rising star in backyard wrestling, especially in Ohio. Nobody can touch me. And I cannot wait to prove it to every single person at ALW and especially at Backyard Havoc, because I'll see anybody and everyone there.
And I want to say one more thing before we go. You're going to have more fuel to the fire, because during this stream, after we made the announcement, Trey Mysticality goes on Facebook and posts a picture of himself at Darkron and calls himself a fanboy. A fanboy, nevertheless. This is prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage. We're in the big leagues, kid. There's no fanboys on Sportswire. There's no fanboys out there. He's fanboying over Darkron. You're here in prime time with 30 plus people live, and he's posting pictures as if he's a fanboy. A fanboy, nevertheless.
And
Fanboy.
I understand. Everybody is a fan at heart. Even when I saw, I'll say it, when I saw Darkron at ALW, I wasn't expecting it. And did I have an oh crap moment? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's wrestling. We are out there to put on a show, and we can fanboy, fangirl in Trey Mysticality's case.
Oh.
I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for talking down upon legends and not respecting legends enough, especially the older wrestlers in the community, the Justins, the Jerrys, the Darkrons. At 19 years old, I'm better than they have ever been. People are coming into my company and latching on to me and latching on to the name of ALW so they can be relevant again and be in the spotlight one last time before, their wrestling career croaks. So I'm going to make it my mission to I want to see this. Oh, look at that guy. Look at the both of them. That is just it's a beautiful picture. However, as a backyard wrestler, and now you're teaming up with the man. I understand.
Called himself a fanboy. Called himself a fanboy.
You can call yourself a fangirl, fanboy. It's fangirl, however. You can do that all you want. But at the end of the day, who is the fastest rising star in all of ALW, in all of backyard wrestling? Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, yeah, we can be fanboys. We can be fangirls. We can lose it when we meet our idols. I'm on Sportswire hyping up shows. I'm on Sportswire talking because I know I can beat Darkron. Trey Mysticality, him posting this shows he's below Darkron. I am not below anyone. I am that top level, and you will never see me fangirl on Facebook about Darkron or anybody else. And I understand it from a personal aspect backstage. Will I lose my mind when I see legends like Darkron? Absolutely. But to go on a social platform of social media where everybody and their brother can see it, is that affecting you?
No, Mr. Judas, I don't think anymore you need to fanboy over anybody. You're now the future of the backyard circuit. I don't think you need to be fanboying everybody. I think 8/17, Judas was born. I don't think you need to be fanboying anymore. You're going to the big leagues. You're going to the main event, kid. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't be doing any fanboying. You don't need to be doing fanboying. You're going up to the place where I'm sure Mr. Mysticality would like to be. And congratulations on that. So I don't think you're needing to fanboy anytime soon. So you can certainly rest assured on that. But obviously, these guys, that's what they want to do. But something tells me the Evil Angel Judas, he ain't no fanboy of anybody. He's got good reasons because he has shown a star was born, Judas 8/17. And tonight, when we got the announcement, it's going to be Matthew Forsaken and the Evil Angel Judas against Trey Mysticality and Darkron. This is going to be one at the Backyard Havoc you will not want to miss. Also, we're going to see Justin and Judas in the rematch for the ALW Championship. Judas is also our 2024 Golden Gauntlet winner. So definitely looking forward to talking about that next month when after he wins the title, he'll go into the Hall of Fame, I have no doubt. And congratulations on having that 8/17 Judas moment similar to Austin 3/16. Congratulations on winning the Golden Gauntlet. And congratulations, my friend, on becoming the future of the backyard wrestling circuit, because the future is now today, and today is the present. So congratulations. See you here soon to go in the Hall of Fame to join Mr. Kron, where you'll no longer have to be a fanboy anymore. And ladies and gentlemen, there we have it. The Evil Angel Judas, a man who defeats death was defeated when he lost that world title, but comes right back, wins that golden gauntlet, and now he's got the opportunity to create moments, not just a moment like 8-17 or tonight 8-19, but 11-9 in Bremen, Ohio. Backyard Havoc when he wins that tag team match alongside Matthew Forsaken against Darkron and Trey Mysticality. That's his story. You're going to be seeing a lot more of it here very soon. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, Philly and Lily, where all wrestling matters. If you're on Sportswire Radio, I'm back here twice tomorrow. Justin Abel Sane, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. He is from NEW's Underground Wrestling. They have the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Tournament this weekend. Obviously, I'm a sponsor of that. I look forward to that. And also the one and only Jacob Frost, the backyard wrestling legend. He works for Backyard Trampoline Wrestling, BTW. He's here at 10:30 Eastern Time. So we'll see if they try to topple Judas, but stay tuned for that.
You got a great lineup. I mean, I don't know if they'll get the views or the clicks or anything else.
Jacob Frost is a legend in the backyard wrestling circuit. I think he might. Justin Abel Sane will get some attention because he's also just wrestled in the UWF, which is the Underground Wrestling Federation. A lot of guys like GTS guys are there. So they'll draw a crowd. They'll draw a crowd. This won't be one when I have guys like the Backyard Wrestling Nexus who will draw peanuts. No, these guys, especially Jacob Frost, he's wrestled in like MEBW, and he knows Jack Delta, by the way. I'll be asking him about Jack Delta. He's been on the same bill as Jack Delta, so he'll definitely be a name that'll draw some attention. But
absolutely, I'm excited to be it. I'll personally be in the chat because I'm studying.
Well, Jacob Frost is a guy you want to study. Mr. Frost, you want to study. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I also want to wish happy birthday to Soldier GP, the IMF World Champion. Maybe we'll see him somewhere down the road in Bremen. I don't know, but we'll definitely see him here on this platform soon. I definitely thank you very much, Soldier, for your support and friendship over the past couple of years. I'm looking forward to seeing you back on Sportswire very soon because, well, I just saw you recently, but we'll see you back here more often. And I'm sure you'll have a thing or two to say about Big Man Cam for sure. You'll definitely have a thing or two to say about that. But thank you for all your collaborations, all your friendship, all of your support. I can't wait to see. I hope it's the best birthday you've had, and the best is yet to come, my friend. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day and many more birthdays ahead. And we'll see what you do on Sportswire very soon. And also, could Judas be the backyard wrestling legend killer? Stay tuned. You never know. We'll certainly see if there'll be a legendary moment coming, but we've already seen a few, and there's many more ahead. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for your support. Please support All Legendary Wrestling on YouTube. Hit the sub button for them. Also support Sportswire Radio. I'm almost at 1,000 subs. Judas will roast me when I hit to 1,000 subs. He can talk, so he'll definitely roast me, I'm sure. He'll do a better job roasting me than Big Man Cam will. But thank you for that. Have a great night. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one Global Radio, that is Sportswire